is from Andre. He went, when both fit, who do you think starts? Liam Delap or George Hirst? What do you reckon, boys? Big question.
I think it depends game to game because I think they're similar in a lot of ways. They've got differences in terms of one who's, I think, a little bit taller, better at holding up the ball potentially in terms of getting into those nice spaces, good movement. In George Hirst, someone who kind of a core group of players know will link up with them very, very well. They're so often on the same wavelength. And others, especially when you're coming up against kind of big, powerful centre-backs, that's when I'd want a Liam Delap to really get stuck into them, or potentially a centre-back where you know you've got a chance to bully them. For example, Delap against, who was it? Gerald Kwanzaa on opening day was just such a mismatch. It was brilliant from an Ipswich perspective. All about finding the right battles and the right link-ups. You might find that player X links up better with Delap or with Hirst, and then also thinking about whose strengths are going to come up better against the Premier League defenders you're about to face. I feel like if you had to choose one kind of like set on, Delap would be probably where my head's at, but is that recency bias? I don't know, potentially. At the end of the day, it's not easy to then not start your £15 million striker, is it? But I think it really will depend game on game.
I think if you'd have asked me that question earlier in the summer, I'd have probably erred towards George Hirst before the injury struck, because I was and still am positive that George Hirst is someone that's still got a lot more development to go under Kieran McKenna, and is someone that can become adept at this level. And we'll never know how it might have turned out, because it might have been that, if George Hirst had been fully fit and firing, I think, certainly with some of the other forward players injured, he probably would have been the starting striker for the opening game. And then you don't get the Delap performances that we've seen, and the whole dynamic potentially changes. Delap may have been signed. I don't know if he necessarily was signed to be the out-and-out number 9 starting centre forward. He might have been signed as a versatile forward option that would sometimes play wide right, as he did for Hull, and might have been eased in slowly, but it started the way it has. Hirst has got injured. Delap's had to start up front. Delap's had some exciting performances so far, and it will be hard for George Hirst to sort of displace him, certainly in the immediate future. But yeah, as Alex says, there might be occasions where both get on the pitch. That Hirst, I think what you'll see is that the centre forward will drop, and Delap's done this a little bit, but Hirst will probably do it a little bit more. He is that more of a link striker that drops into the pockets, and then the two sort of number 10s, as we're increasingly seeing, whether that's Schmodix and Hutchinson, or Delap could be one of those players that then kind of get beyond the centre forward, and the centre forward ends up actually deeper than the two 10s at times. So it's not impossible that we'll see them both on the pitch at some stage. But it would be great when Hirst is back and we got those options. Imagine, Delap sort of empties the tank on 60-70 minutes, and then George Hirst steps off the bench. That'd be fantastic.